This video will look at Porter's 5 forces and what they are, taking each one in turn step by step. But first of all, what are the 5 forces all about? What is it? Why did Michael Porter come up with this model? Well, it's a strategic framework which was developed by, of course, Michael Porter, which is used to analyze competitive intensity and attractiveness of an industry. So how much competition is there in existence within the markets that you are currently operating in, and how can you go about actually becoming that competitive advantage player? It will also help to assess any external threats and opportunities that there are in the environment. Obviously, Porter's 5 forces goes quite well with the SWOT analysis, which will also allow us to analyze any external threats and opportunities that we may face. So the first force that he recognized was that of competitive rivalry. So this is all about thinking about how intense is the competition among existing firms. So it's looking at the competition that is already in existence. How can we go above and beyond what they are already doing in order to win market share? Obviously, if there is high rivalry, the best thing that some players may do is to reduce their prices and their profit margins. By reducing prices, you are, of course, going to get footfall into your business, into your organization. If you are selling the same or similar product, people are always going to want to buy that bargain. However, that is going to have a negative impact upon your own profit, reducing that margin for yourself. So it's all about, are you happy to take that reduced margin per product that you sell? He then went on to say that, well, actually, the second force is that of new entrants. They pose a threat to us as well. So how easy would it actually be for a new firm to enter into the market? Because, of course, if it is an easy business which can be replicated, the entry into it becomes easier. That is going to give rise to increased competition in the area, lowering your overall profit potentially, as customers like to try new things. And if they are happy with that new entrant coming into the market once they've tried it once, they are likely to make repeat purchases or return to that particular business rather than yours, where they may have previously been happy beforehand. Force 3 is all about the bargaining power of buyers then. So can our customers demand lower prices and better terms? Quite often, customers may come in and negotiate prices depending on the kind of business you are, particularly relevant in the service industry. Perhaps you're getting a house renovation, you've got a builder coming out who's quoted a price. Maybe you've had a few different quotes, but you want to go with a more expensive one. It may be that you bargain him down because you have a competitor who is likely to come to you and do it for a cheaper price. Therefore, if that is the case and that builder particularly wants the work from you, they are going to agree, which means that you, as the buyer, have actually squeezed their margins. Force 4 then, well, we've talked about the bargaining power of buyers, but we can also have the bargaining power of suppliers as well. So suppliers raise prices, or are they going to reduce their quality? Any powerful suppliers can increase their costs as well. So if we want to buy an item from a supplier, we don't set that cost. That is at the discretion of the supplier, and ultimately we have no control over that. And force 5 then, his final force, is the threat of substitutes. Are there alternative products that are going to meet the same need, is the question we ask ourselves here. More than likely, in most industries, this is certainly going to be the case, whereby you can pick up a different product, very similar. Think about the chocolate industry. If your go-to bar is a bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk, but all of a sudden Cadbury's decide to increase that by a massive amount, but then you've also got a bar of Galaxy Smooth sitting next to it, which is a fraction of the price, then you are probably very possibly going to pick that bar of Galaxy up because it is a substitute here that can be used. So more substitutes are going to limit the pricing power when this is available, because as consumers we have a choice as to which product we can pick up which will both arrive at the same desired outcome. Perhaps it may not make us as happy as what item number one would be, which would be our first choice, but it would still bring us enough happiness and enough satisfaction in order to have to make that compromise. So what would these 5 forces be used for, and why should we use them? Well, first of all, a business should be looking at Porter's 5 forces if they are wanting to evaluate the industry structure and the market dynamics. By doing this, they are able to see exactly what is happening in their external environment, what is going to draw them a competitive advantage, but also what are the threats out there. And as well as that, are there any opportunities that we as a business can implement in order to make sure that we are staying ahead of the game? It also should be used if we're supporting any strategic positioning and risk assessment, which will help us plan for the future and hopefully create a successful business model. Informing decisions on pricing, investment, and competitive strategy is also another reason as to why Porter's 5 forces can come into use. It will allow us to price our products quite strategically in a way that our customers are actually going to come to us rather than competitors, but it will also ensure that we are ahead of that game